Decision merchants are way better than finishers, bro. They're better in every way. I'm done with this. Oh, dude, finishers are just the best, dude. Dude, cowbunga, dude, radical. Nah, they're not, bro. I think decision merchants, or whatever you want to call them, decision fighters, they're better. They're more entertaining. They have a more promising. I'm gonna get into everything because I think they're way clear of these finishers, and I think we gotta stop like normalizing for the casual audience because I know everyone's a lot of people who watch UFC are casual, so all they care about are finishes. They just want to see someone get knocked out brutally. Oh my god, that guy's nasty. He's gonna be the future. This, that, and the third, and it leads to a lot of negative things. And I'm gonna talk about it in this entire video, and I'm gonna tell people and explain to people why I actually think decision merchants are way better than finishers in multiple like facets in fighting, like not just. Oh, they're better fighters. I'm going to get into how they're better for the company, how they're better for everything, and I'm going to explain it. You just got to hear me out on this because I know a lot of casuals don't want to like turn their head and listen to this point of view. So let's get into it, why decision merchants are clear of finishing merchants. First off, it's hard to analyze the true skill of a quick finisher, like a top tier finisher. We don't know if Aspinall and Sergey are the same people yet. We just don't know. And I know you go, oh, but Kenny, I just think Aspinall just does stuff quicker and better, and his chin's always in the air, but he never gets caught because he's really good at evading, and he's just cool. We don't know how good he is. We don't know if he's Sergey Pavlovich maxing yet. We don't know. How are we supposed to know if this guy is like really that good? Like Sergey looked great, bro. People forget, man. I'm a people forget man right now because they don't understand the kind of hype Sergey Pavlovich was getting, like before he got knocked out by Aspinall. Even after he got knocked out, oh, it might have been a lucky punch, but whatever. They forgot how people were like hyping up Sergey Pavlovich to a crazy extent, like he was some kind of, oh, he's the next big thing. He's going to destroy Aspinall. He's going to destroy Jones. That's what they were saying. Tom Aspinall beats him, and then he ends up fighting Volkov, and then over the course of 3 rounds, he was kind of getting outstruck. His shot output went down. He looked a little bit So it's hard to truly gauge the skill of like finishers, like these quick finishers. You know what I'm saying? You don't really understand it. It doesn't just go for strike. I can even look at Hamza. Like, yeah, he's been the distance once or twice, you know, but those 2 times he looked like a little bit like it's hard to gauge the actual skill of like a finisher. Hamza, like at least Hamza went the distance. Okay, Aspinall, he hasn't been the distance yet. He's just used to finishing people in the first round. And then like I think one fight went to the second. It was an old Arlovsky or something. I forgot, but he finishes people quick, just like Sergey used to. But once Sergey went the distance, he kind of got exposed. I think the same could be said for Aspinall because we're over here saying, dude, Aspinall beats Jones, dude. Trust me, dude. Just he's gonna go in there in the first round, and be the first one to knock out Jones. He's gonna do it in 30 seconds. It's gonna be brilliant. Aspinall's so good. He's the greatest of all time. And how do you know this? Are you just going off of like hype? Like I really believe that it's easier for like a casual to believe in the hype of like a finisher because all you see is them go in the ring and finish them quickly. Like even with Francis Ngannou before the first Stipe fight, oh, he's the best, dude. And then he went against Stipe. Stipe kind of exposed him because Francis went the distance for the first time, and it wasn't to his favor. So listen, he could be Francis Ngannou maxing. Like maybe the first time he goes the distance against Jones whoops him, and then later on he develops and improves shit and he gets better like Francis did. But my thing is, I don't think he beats Jones, and I know that's a hot take, and people aren't gonna like be, oh, Kenny, why are you saying that, dude? Like, you're not college, what are you doing? Bro, I'm saying it because we don't know his true skill, and I want people to open their eyes to this and realize, like, you could glaze a finisher because they're, like, good at finishing people. Aspinall specifically, I'm not trying to get too critical on him, but, like, for someone who's, like, known for being a great striker, great finisher, and keeps his chin, like, he like, his chin is so in the air, it's almost like he's asking to get hit, and like he loses a lot of movement and I'm like, this guy's gonna fatigue in a 5-round fight. And the first time he went the distance, he goes the distance, it's gonna be 5 rounds, 25 minutes. First time Sergey went the distance was 15 minutes and he got exposed. But since he's holding an interim belt now, he finished his way all the way to the top. Now he's holding an interim belt. This could get really bad. No, I'm not. This could get really bad for Aspinall. Like right now, he's looking like a real bad man, but he could be a real sad man real quick. So I just don't know how to gauge fully some of these like elite finishers. He could be a Sergey Pavlovich, and we would never know. So that's the first like blemish of a finisher because you just don't know how they are, and it's going to lead to disappointing a lot of people. But let's transition to these decision merchants. They have crazy gas things. And in this picture, I'm showing two different styles, bro. Strickland is nowhere near the style of Merab. But what do they both have in common? Decision merchants, they just happen to have good endurance, so it's less likely to fraud check them. Like with Aspinall, we don't know. It's like there's so much questions with these finishers. Like, can they go the distance? With the first time, are they going to get exposed? This, that, and the third. But with like decision merchants, they usually go a distance a lot of times. We see it with Bilal, we see it with Merab, see it with Sean Strickland, we see it with multiple people, even Pantoja. We see it with a lot of these guys. They go the distance and they have the endurance to go the distance, so they're not really gonna get fraud checked when the time comes. Like finishers, it's just easier to go in there and kind of embarrass yourself over the course of the fight because you're so used to getting them out early. These guys have finishes. Like, it's not impossible for them to finish someone. Like, Strickland did finish a boost. You know, I'm pretty sure Merab had a finish early in his career. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure. So yeah, they have the ability to finish them, but it's just that they have more of ability to go the distance, and like their fight styles for these two, I feel like it kind of gets better as the fight goes. Strickland kind of went, if Strickland gets you backing up, bro, he's gonna just heat up, you know. So I'm gonna give Strickland credit. I'm gonna glaze Strickland a little bit, dude. You know, yo, dude, Kenny, you're glazing. Nah, I'm not glazing, but I'm gonna give him credit. Like, he's good at what he's doing, and like when he gets that momentum going of that beautiful, strange, perfect, the top tier striking in the UFC, that beautiful teep into a jab for 25 minutes. It's a boring fight style, but it conserves energy well, and he could go the distance comfortably against anyone. And then the last 10 seconds, of course, Strickland just puts it all in there because he has so much energy he's been saving because he doesn't really do a lot except for teep and jab. And then Merab, like in contrast, Merab literally like goes full-fledged the whole 25 minutes, just wrestling. He can shoot 100 takedowns. He's going to still shoot 400 more if like you're not on the ground. Like, he doesn't care. So these guys just have better gas tanks, so they're more fit to go for a longer period of time compared to these finishers who just go in there and it's like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to be the best dude and knock this guy out in one punch. Brother, who give you, brother? Yo, we have to check these guys' gas tank, brother. You know, this is what I think, brother. This is my opinion. But crazy gas tank, which is just a benefit for these decision merchants. And it's not just, the wrestlers. People like Strickland, strikers, Whitaker, etc. Strikers have it too. Moving on back to the cooking these finishers, because these finishers and their lack of hairline kind of get me mad. They're one-dimensional. Of course, on the screen, we got the nasty finisher, Robelius of Spain, who's not even in the UFC anymore, but did have a good knockout karate combat. But they're more likely to be good at one martial art, and it's typically striking. Like, a lot of these finishers are good at one thing. They're specialists, which end up leading to them inevitably getting that fraud check because, bro, this Robelius looks so good, dude. Like, dude, Cuban Ngannou's coming in here. That's what all the casuals are saying. Dude, he's Cuban Ngannou. I think the Weasel made a video like, Ngannou's a replacement. And, like, listen, at first, you're looking at his highlights. Dude, this guy's nasty, man. This guy's the best finisher. Dude, he's going to be the next Francis Ngannou. He's going to be champion. And then what happened the second time? I think it was the second fight when he wrestled that Waldo, whatever Costa guy. He just wrestle fucked him. And he looks so bad. Yo, he looks so bad. And it surprises. What gets me mad, you know, I'm going to get mad in a second. Because what actually bothers me is, like, these guys are participating in MMA. You would think they would have to, like, you can't, bro, mixed martial arts, brother. Why are you not mixing, brother? You know, we have to understand and check the moment of why they don't mix the martial arts. And they try to come here and one martial art max. Brother, why are you doing that? Just either learn MMA or just stay in kickboxing or stay in whatever. I know UFC makes good money, so they all want to come to the UFC. But if you're going to come to the UFC with one martial art, like, be either really good at it or have the endurance to do it for a long period of time or be able to defend takedowns. Because if you're just going to come in here with a one-dimensional striking or that just really is just power. If you look at Robelius, it's like he's good striking, yeah. Technically, he looks a little bit awkward, but it's really the power that carries him. Like, that one-dimensional style is not going to get you far, in my opinion. So I feel like this is another bad thing about finishers. They come in here with one style, trying to just one style max their way to a victory, and it never happens. So that's a big blemish. So now we're going to go back onto the decision merchants and show what they do well, because they do stuff so much better. One thing I've noticed is when the best decision fighters go against the best finishers, the decision fighters usually win. And the reason they win is because they drag them into deep waters. Like, they're taking them to some ways they're not used to being. And it's not like Sugar was like, I put Merab and Sugar as an example here. It's not like Sugar hasn't been the distance, but it's like when you're going against someone who specializes, this is going to sound dumb, someone who specializes in like going the distance, bro. He specializes in decision fights, man. They specialize in just, going 25 minutes. They're gonna have an advantage there, and they're gonna in this style. This ended up being a stylistic matchup in the wrestler against striker. Sugar just knocking out Aljo. Oh, he's gonna knock him out again. This finisher is just—he's so good. He's elite. And then he goes in there and kind of gets mollywopped the entire fight. Like, we see this with a lot. Even when Ngannou and Stipe first went against each other, like, we know Stipe has been decision a couple times in his career. He was more used to the decision. He was more used to being a decision merchant than Ngannou, who's used to going there and knocking out people. And look what Stipe did to Ngannou, embarrassed him. It took Francis a little bit of growing. After that fight, he went the distance again with Derek Lewis, and then he started becoming comfortable. Then you saw him in the second fight knock out Stipe. And then you saw him against Cyril Gane have the ability to go the distance against someone like Gane, who's a really good striker, who could finish people with his good kickboxing. So it just goes to prove that if you're a seasoned decision fighter, or you've been the decision like more times than your opposition, it's going to lead to you having more comfortability as it gets into deep waters. These finishers aren't used to being in the trenches with us, bro. Why did I say us? I don't know. But they're not used to being in the trenches with us, man. We live in this moment. We're used to shit like this. So when we're in the trenches, bro, we do what we got to do. So we smash these guys. This is what I think, brother. These strikers, brother, overrated, brother. We have to check these finishers. But yeah, this is just a classic decision versus finisher matchups. And when these matchups happen, unless these finishers get him out, like listen, you could look at examples like Bobby Green, and what's his name, Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson has been a goes to decision a lot. But like even what's weird about that, the way these decision merchants get fraud checked, it's not really a fraud check. It's just the finisher having a moment. That's it's not like I'm coping. It's really just the finisher having a moment. Is Bobby Green better than Grant Dawson? I guarantee no. Like if they fought 10 times, I guarantee Bobby Green would win that one time, and that one time was that one lucky night. Because I'm telling you right now, Grant Dawson would have dragged him in deep waters, and he would have been over for Bobby Green. Might even finish Bobby Green. Like that's what I'm saying. But like when a finisher gets fraud check, it's usually because like a Robelli sustained moment or like just a moment where someone's used, like Sergey Pavlovich against Volkov. They're so used to just finishing people early, so when it doesn't happen, you legitimately see a skill differential. Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green wasn't necessarily a skill differential. It was more like, okay, he got caught. You try to be a go-getter and got. That's all that was. That's really what it is. So like every time I see like these like decision merchants lose, or get fraud checked, it's not really a fraud check compared to what they do to these finishers. So I really feel like the best decision fighters versus the best finishers in each division, the best decision fighter is going to win. Like if Shavkat, who had a 100% finish rate until Ian Gary went against Bilal, that's why I'm going to put so much money on Bilal when that fight happens. And people can keep calling me crazy. Oh, dude, Shavkat, though, he's a great finisher, man. Great at holding people against the fence now. We'll see, brother. We'll see, brother. Shavkat sucks. And Usman probably has a better chance. Shavkat's the worst, So we'll see, brother. But I'm saying best decision fighters are probably going to beat the best finishers 9 times out of 10. So if you ever see a matchup like that, Bilal and Shavkat's going to be the most recent matchup. So get ready to put all your bread on Bilal. And if you don't want to, put it on the finisher, see what happens, brother. Can't wait to see that. But yeah, I just feel like the best decision fighters always beat the best finishers. Moving on to the next one. Finishers get overrated easier, bro. It's just, and look at Terence McKenna. People forget, man. I'm gonna say people, because people do forget. Terence McKenna had some weird hype around him, and he finished for Vola by knockout, and then he submitted Fair Zaim. So he had some good finishes, and he was getting overhyped, and then gets knocked out. Then he had a knockdown, and then gets knocked out. Like he's Michael Johnson maxing at his young age. That boy got to pack it up. He's gonna get brain damage early. And then BSD, bro. I swear he finished Matt Favola, and they're like, oh, he's gonna knock out Dustin, dude. Dustin Poirier is done for. What are you, bro? Like I got it. I'm gonna do the song, bro, because I have to. Like these guys ain't never hustled with the stars, bro, or had to tussle with the law. They never shook their homie hand after they punched him in the jaw. Because they nothing but a fraud. I'm going to say the fraud check song because they're frauds. Like I look at them, I see what they do, and they're doing shit wrong. They're trying to rely on their power or their finishing ability, and when that goes to shit, there's literally nothing they can do. It literally looks horrible. Like they don't look like they're competing at the highest level. Terence McKenna's like a crazy example. So is BSD though. Like I feel like BSD had a lot of hype, and he's just getting mollywopped now. And I do think BSC is not horrible, but it's just like it's a different level of thing. Like you can't just go in here with the finishing. I swear, like he was just glazed because there's like 100%. He's not 100% finishing rate, but across his wins, he's 100% finishing rate. Every time he loses, might be a finish as well. Now that I think of it, he just gets finished or finishes people. I guess that's a flex, but yeah, he just fell victim to the fraud hype. Like all these people hyping up frauds just because they see some cool finishes. Brother, it's deeper than this, brother. Look at the guys on your screen, brother. Who these guys? We got to check these guys moment, brother, because they're not built like these decision merchants. I'm just saying, it's so easy to fall victim to this guy's so good because he's finishing people in the first round. Keep falling victim to it, you casual fans. I'm trying to wake you guys up. Just listen to me and then wake up a little bit. You get me? Moving on, though. Decision fighters aren't boring. There's a dumb misconception that, okay, that's not the reason we know finishers are worse, Kenny, but it's just that decision fighters are so boring. Brother, they're not. Pantoja is a decision fighter. I know Pantoja just knocked out someone, but people forget. Erceg, Royval, Moreno, he's a decision fighter. And I've never seen a boring Pantoja fight. And people kind of try to give him shit for like, oh, he starts wrestling. Wrestling is MMA. His whole fights are always entertaining. The scrambles and flyweight are entertaining. I swear he doesn't have a boring fight. This guy's entertaining as it gets. So I say Pantoja. So people try to say, oh, all decision fighters are boring. They're not. Johnson Almeida, I can point to him too, because for some reason, he went to decision one time against Derek Lewis, and he's boring. One time, he has a 100% finish rate. Went to decision one time. Yo, Johnson Almeida is boring, man. I can't believe. And people like actually believe it. Like people who don't watch like Johnson Almeida fight or UFC, they're like, yeah, he is boring, man. How dare he wrestle fuck Derek Lewis just because he got in a wrestling match with Derek Lewis and that's a one person he didn't finish. He's boring suddenly. And then you got Robert Whittaker. Thing about Whittaker, he does go to distance a lot against Costa, against Cannonier, against Darren Till, against Kelvin Gastelum, and it's just like they're not boring fights. It's really, most of the time is Robert Whittaker putting on a clinic, but the striking clinic mixed up with the wrestling, it's all looking great to me. So, it's impressive. Like, some of these decision fighters, like, who are majority decision fighters, they looked at and they're deemed that as boring, but they're really not. Like, people try to gaslight you that finishing equates to entertainment, when honestly, I think the best fights in UFC history weren't finishes. I mean, that's not even honestly, that's a fact. The best fights in the UFC went the distance. These decision merchants aren't as boring as they get. Like, sure, there's some boring fight. I don't think Mob's not even boring. I don't even know people are gonna say Bilal's boring because he goes the distance a little bit, but I really believe as of lately, especially, Bilal's fights have been very entertaining. So, like, people try to gaslight, like, decisions are boring. You're being gaslit. You're being lied to, and you're a victim. You're a victim, bro. You guys are victims right now to gaslighting and just manipulation and at its finest. So, people are saying decision fight, yeah, dude, they're boring, man. They're boring. Brother, you don't zip it up when you're done, brother. You don't know what you're saying, brother. You're crazy guy, brother. They're cowabunga, man. Whatever you guys say, they're radical. All right, moving on, though. I really want to preface this point. Finishers disappoint you more. I don't want to even look at this guy in his face. Victor Petrino, brother. Parlay Destroyer, bro. And it's like, and I'm done doing it. I've been victim to it, and I'm done. They just destroy your parlay so much easier. Oh, this guy's gonna go in there and knock him out. And then when he doesn't do it, they get exposed. And then he ended up getting knocked out by Dustin Jacoby. I can't with this guy, bro. Like, at first I was like, oh yeah, Anthony Smith fraud his way in that win. Turns out if that fight went outside the first round anyways, or second round, Anthony Smith probably would have had that Lionheart Max and just beat him up. The victory, Petrino is so bad. I actually hate looking at his face now. And then, like, I put Shavkat here because when someone has like 100% finish rate, then you see him have like lackluster performances. You give him a lot of shit. They were giving him a lot of like negativity after the Ian Gary fight and kind of after the Wonderboy fight, even though he beat Wonderboy. Just the way he was going about the fight, because they saw his Jeff Neal fight, so I just feel like if you're a finisher, like, since you have such high standards because people overly glaze you, like, it's easier to disappoint people. And then most of them just destroy parlays. Like, if you see a finisher, like, oh, this guy's gonna win by knockout. Oh, Shavkat's gonna win by knockout against Ian Gary. Brother, your money's down the drain, and then we thought, but Petrino, I don't want to talk about Petrino. I'm done talking about you. You get no more fucking time on my channel. So yeah, my point is, finishers disappoint you more. Stop being disappointed and come to the good side, brother. The good side, brother. Let's wrestle. All right, and then the last but not least, I'm just gonna end it off with this. Decision fighters have more promising futures overall over these finishers. Like, if I put someone who people think have a great future, and I put people think Protez is Protez is gonna be champion, dude. Protez is gonna be champion, man. And then Mobs are also a decision fighter, 100% decision rate. That's kind of crazy in the UFC, but yeah, Mobs are gonna be a champion. Which is more realistic? Let's be real. I know Casual's gonna go, oh, Carlos Protez is gonna be more realistic because he's gonna go in there, he's gonna knock out JDM, he's gonna knock out Usman, he's gonna knock out Belal, he's gonna win the title because he's the best finisher ever. And I know people are gonna believe that. Like, casuals are gonna believe that. They're like, yeah, he's gonna knock out all these wrestlers, dude. All these decision merchants, Protez gonna knock him out. But the truth of the matter is, harder to believe that. Like, I know people might gaslight you, like he's gonna knock out Belal and Usman and like all these guys. I'm laughing because I think it's funny. I'm sorry. But it's really more realistic. Even though Ilya's a way harder fight, it's more realistic that Mobstar could give Ilya a different look that no one ever gave him. Oh, dude, but Max Holloway and Volk got knocked out. Okay, dude, Max Holloway and Volk wrestle? Like, let me know. Were they wrestling him? You know, Mobs are going to give him a different look, and Mobs is going to make it probably one of the hardest fights. I think Aljo and Mobs are stylistically the only people who could beat 145 a champion who's a finisher primarily. And why? Because they're seasoned in decision fights. You can say what you want about decision merchants. The truth of the matter is, most of them, like, in the whole welterweight, look at the whole welterweight division from the start of time to end of time. GSP, Usman, Belal. Usman's not really a decision merchant, but he has his decisions, you know. But they all dominated because they have decision experience and they have that dog in them. Decision fighters have more dog in them than these finishers. I guarantee once we see Protez go through some adversity, you're gonna see a different side of him. And you're gonna be like, oh, well, how did that happen? You guys are gonna start crying. And you're gonna be like, oh, fraud check. And I'm not even gonna call him a fraud. I just think I'm just like open. I'm woke to it. You know what I'm saying? I know Protez is talented. He's a good striker, good finisher. But I know his moment's gonna come and he's gonna lose. So I really just feel like overall decision merchants, they own the UFC. They run the UFC. And people who disagree, brother, who give you opinion, brother? You shouldn't have opinion. This is my opinion. So yeah, come to the good side. Bro said good. Come to the good side, chat. You know what I'm saying? The real bad side. You get me, bro? Like we're lit over here. I keep saying we because I really like a lot of my favorite fighters, except like Hamza. It's not like I have mixed fighters. I love DDP. That's a finisher. Hamza, finisher. You know what I'm saying? But I love my Bilals. I love my Mavzars. I love my Umars. I love these guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm balanced, but I'm woke to the fact that decision merchants are way better than finishing merchants. They're just less likely to get fraud checked. Your favorite, if you want to build a relationship with a fighter, if you want to find a favorite fighter, make sure they're a decision merchant and stop trying to be a casual. Just like, yeah, dude, knockouts are gnarly, dude, so I'm going to go for the knockouts, dude. Don't do that bullshit. So yeah, more promising futures, better chance at being champion, better legacy, better career, better hairlines, better physiques. Just know decision merchants have it all. But let me know what you guys think down below. I think I cooked. That's it for me, and God bless. 2, 3.